Hey guys, and welcome. Happy Friday. It's a special Friday. You know why it's Chelsea, you know why it's special? Because it's Friday. That's all it is. It's the weekend. We're here to have some fun. Guys, welcome to CMJ Live. I have my special guest. Welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Marlon Shaw. I'm a speaking coach and trainer, and I'm excited to be here hanging out with you this afternoon, Charles.
All right, man. All right. Now, I'm gonna give you some backstory. We actually,
Sure.
I looked through LinkedIn and Facebook, interesting people, and then you came up.
You're checking me out.
Yeah, man. I was looking at your profile, and I was like, okay, I like what he's doing. An interesting person, goes out, doing the speaking. But let's dive into who you are first. All right, I always like to let everybody know a little background about you and where did you start, where did you come from, and all that stuff, right?
Well, I was born in Jamaica. I've been here since 1976. So
okay.
It's been quite a while. Canada's been my home since that time.
Okay.
In terms of background, well, first and foremost, I always consider myself to be a student.
Okay.
That's the title that I like the most. Other people call me a lot of different things, but
yeah.
Overall, I look at myself as being a student, a lifelong learner. So that's who I am at heart.
Yeah.
Everything else that I do stem from that.
All right. Always learning. Always
learning. Always growing.
Always growing. Yeah. So where did you grow up?
I grew up first in Scarborough.
Okay.
For the first part of my teenage years. And then my mom made the wonderful decision to move us to Pickering back in 1981 when Pickering was a farm country.
Yeah.
Something that I wasn't too excited about.
I want to say, you're coming from Jamaica, you want to, something different and everything, and then you're going out to Pickering.
Yeah. So we spend the first year out in Downsview, and then after that we spent quite a few years in Scarborough around the Warden and Finch area.
Okay. Yes.
And so I lived there for quite a while. Mm-hmm. I ended up going to high school at Lamoureux, which is I really loved it.
Okay.
And then halfway through, about grade 11, my mom decided that she wanted to move us out of Scarborough into Pickering.
Yeah.
Something that my brother and I wasn't too crazy about.
Yeah.
And it's when we moved out there, it was farm. And so coming from Scarborough and going into Pickering and realizing that there's really no transportation to go back and forth.
Yeah.
And so I was really disappointed at first.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, why is my mom moving us from all this excitement from Scarborough into Pickering? And then we realized that she was doing it for a purpose.
Okay.
Things were kind of changing in Scarborough.
Yeah.
And there was some concern on her part that my brother and I were running with the wrong crowd. So you know how parents are.
Yeah.
Moms are very intuitive, right? So they made the move before it's too late. And so I look back on that period of time in my life now and realize it was probably the best thing she ever did for us.
Okay. Yeah. But I heard you say something. You said me and my brother. So how many your brothers?
Just my brother and I, just one brother. Just the two of us.
Just the two of you. Okay.
Two enough to drive her crazy.
I was say, because that could have been easy both of you coming and doing stuff together, and then that going from a life of excitement and doing everything, and then going to Pickering, right?
So it took a while. Pickering got exciting after a while, but it did take a few years.
It does.
For sure.
So after Pickering, where are you now?
I'm still in Pickering. So that's how much I've actually grown to love the area.
Okay.
Like when we first moved out there, it just seemed like it was boring.
Yes.
There was not a whole lot to do.
Yeah.
Scarborough was still considered like the hip place to be. So part of actually living in Pickering, which was really good, was being from Scarborough, I actually had celebrity status. Believe it or not, people's like, "Oh my God, you're from Scarborough." But over time, I grew to love it.
Yeah.
I went to Pickering High School, which I enjoyed really well. Played football there, had lots of fun. And then now I love Ajax and Pickering because it's so close to the lake. And so I like that tranquility.
Yeah.
So all that craziness that I enjoyed before, I'm sort of the total opposite now. I like my tranquility. I like to hang out by the lake, go for bike rides, and just sort of be one with nature.
So then the reason I ask your background, when did you know, going through all those transitions, that this is what you want to do? Or did you have other jobs before this?
I didn't know this is what I wanted to do. In high school, I thought I was going to get involved in engineering. That was something I was thinking about. And not even sure why I thought about engineering, because I really didn't like math or sciences, but it just seemed like the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of things happened in high school. I don't know if you should give you a quick backstory or
not.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the age of 16 in high school, I was at that stage where I was introvert. Mm-hmm. I was sort of suffering from a little bit of low self-esteem. I was one of those students that didn't feel that I was good enough.
Okay.
And we come across some of those individuals in life as well. So I didn't think I was smart enough. I didn't think I was talented enough. I didn't think I was athletic enough. And so I sort of had that low self-esteem issue.
Right.
Trying to figure, like, where do I fit in? Like, I didn't just felt I was good enough. And so because of that, I kind of drifted a little bit more to sort of the background. The cool crowd, that was the way to go.
Yeah.
And so that's the direction I sort of moved in a little bit for maybe about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I was moving down that path, I realized I wasn't really enjoying this movement. The identity that I was looking for wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, I started getting involved in some of the petty crimes that you do when you're young and you're a
course.
teenager.
Yeah.
And I started to realize that as much as I was looking for a way to fit in, that just wasn't the way I was looking to fit in.
Right.
And it was a time when I wasn't having the greatest communication with my mom. At age 16, you know it all. Mom doesn't know enough.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I didn't know how to really, I had no one really to talk to about it. And I wasn't sure how was I going to move from this area of my life that I didn't like to sort of get back to something that was really me. I was trying to find that identity.
Right.
And so I wasn't really speaking to my mom about it, but one of the things that was troubling me as well was I didn't want to disappoint her. Like, no kid wants to disappoint their mom.
Right.
And so even though there was no communication, I guess moms always have this intuitiveness. Like, it just doesn't matter what you think you're doing outside of the house, and you think mom doesn't have a clue.
They know. It's a sixth sense. They know. Yeah.
And so the strangest thing is that my mom gave me this book. And it was kind of weird. I'm thinking, my mom's giving me a book? Mm-hmm. And it turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me. Okay. The book was called Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude.
Okay.
By Napoleon Hill, W. Clement Stone, which is probably some people who haven't heard of that one.
Yeah.
Everyone's aware of Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
But this is one that most people are not aware of. And within that book, I came across what is now the famous quote. I didn't know it was a famous quote at the time, but it intrigued me, and it was, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve.
Okay.
And I thought it was interesting, not because I got it, because at 16 I'm thinking like, achieve, believe, what does that mean?
Right.
But what I really got from the book was the stories. There were some amazing stories I talked about, just ordinary people going out and achieving these great success.
Okay.
And these stories started to resonate with me to the point where I started believing that, hey, wait a second, maybe I could be one of those guys.
Maybe something's there, right?
That, and I know all my friends out there now that sort of familiar with this story that I share it quite a bit. They know where I'm coming from. But really, those stories just resonated with me. And it just had me sort of thinking that, man, I'm not a loser. I'm not as unintelligent as I was thinking about. And maybe there is some athletic skills inside of me that I'm just not aware of.
Right.
And so those stories just got me focusing and trying to be better. And so I started focusing more on school. I started working out. I started jogging. And before I know it, I started getting involved in football. I started doing more things that felt right to me. Mm-hmm. And once that started and that belief system changed, I really sort of gravitated to school again. It was like, okay, this is important. I'm going to focus on my education. Mm-hmm. And the subjects that I hated, like math, I started becoming an A student in math. And that just made me realize that the power of the mind. Mm-hmm. And so everything sort of transitioned from that period in my life, even to where I am today. That one book has led me to read hundreds of books since then. Okay. And then now I'm a firm believer that, reading is important to gain those new knowledge. So I still continue to read about 40 to 50 books a year. Okay. And that's just me. That's my passion, is to continue to learn. In terms of career, this where I am today was nothing that I ever imagined would happen. Right. After high school, I went into the police force. Okay. That was back in the days when there was...
Let's slow back down there. So... You're jumping, because for me it's like, okay, your mom gave you this book, and this one book changes your life, okay? Yeah. So now from low self-esteem to this book changing your life, you're thinking, I'm a police officer. Like that's right out of the box to go strong.
It was an incredible change. Yeah. Like that one moment when I started to believing in myself, and I started to see things happening, I started to see my marks going up. Yeah. And even though I wasn't a great football player, I just had a passion for it. And because of that passion, I trained hard. Right. And so the harder I was training with, weightlifting, and as you start to build up your body, you start to get more self-confident. Yeah. And so the harder that I was training, the more confident I was being, and the more empowered I was starting to feel. Right. And that empowerment made me decide that the police force wasn't the first choice. It wasn't something that I initially thought about. Mm-hmm. I mean, so the backstory to that was I was playing a lot of football. I wanted to go on to college to play football, even if I couldn't make it as far as I thought I could make it. Mm-hmm. And then I sustained an injury in grade 13. Okay. And that injury just got me right out of football. But I started working out more to sort of rehabilitate my shoulders. And then I got involved in bodybuilding. And during that time, I was in the gym doing a lot of bodybuilding, a lot of training, and there's a lot of guys in there that were doing. And there's one guy in the gym that I really admire. There's always that one guy.
There's always that one guy.
There's the big guy that has all the muscles and all the girls that gravitate to.
And he goes in and out, and you're like, hey, what's up? But then you always see how much plates he puts on. Yeah. You forget it's your turn on the rep because you're watching him put on the plate, and you're trying to
keep up.
Right.
But one thing that happened in the gym, and I think that was a shift in my thinking, was that At the time, he was trying to get into the police force, and he kept bragging about, "Oh, I'm going to be a police officer." He's a big guy. We all figured he was going to make it. He's in great shape, and he didn't make it. He didn't make it through.
Yeah, didn't pass the course.
He didn't pass the course. Didn't make it through the first round. But what he did when he came back into the gym was letting all of us know that because he couldn't do it, no one else could do it. And that struck me. That just struck something inside of me. I didn't like the idea of somebody coming back, and I admire the person.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the fact that somebody was telling me that because they couldn't achieve something.
That means you can't do it.
I couldn't do it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the police force came into my focus. And I started
so
looking into it.
It wasn't so much that you wanted to.
I was trying to prove something.
And you're trying to prove something. That guy's telling you can't eat that hot pepper. Yeah. You're thinking.
So it wasn't a career choice that I had in mind, but it was almost like a dare when somebody dare you to do something.
Yeah, I get you.
I just thought, there's no way.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna take his word for it. So I went there. I think at the time it was at Jarvis Street where they had the employment center. So I went down to Jarvis Street, got all the information about it because there was no internet. So you had to go and get everything. So I went down and got all that information. I looked at it. I looked at what the qualifications are, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna go for this. I put in my application in. And then I just started training like a madman. I was running every day. I was doing push-ups and sit-ups. I was doing everything that was required to do it. And I got in.
Okay.
And when I got in, I thought, okay, I'm in. I'm going to make the most of this.
Yeah.
And so for 2 years, I went hard at it. I mean, I was excited because I graduated at the top of my class, both for academics and athletics. So all of a sudden, this guy that didn't believe he was smart enough or didn't believe he was athletic enough, when I went through the police force, even though it wasn't the ideal career choice for me, it actually also took me to a whole new level of thinking. Because I'm thinking like, okay, I'm graduating at the top of my class.
Right.
I'm proving that I'm somehow athletic. This is great.
Right.
And so for 2 years, I had a lot of fun being a cadet. And then the fitness thing started to grow on me. And I was getting more involved in bodybuilding. And so after 2 years in the police force, I decided at that point that rather than going to Elmore, which is where the police college was. Yeah. I think I was scheduled to go down when I was 20, so I was around about 19 and a half, so I had about 6 months to go.
Right.
And I had to make a decision because what they required you in the police force as a cadet was, if you're not 100% sure that you want to go through with it, please don't go to Elmore. Because it's going to cost us all this money to train you.
And someone else that really wants to do it could take that spot.
And during my 2 years, I saw a lot of cadets went through, and then 6 months later, they were quitting. And I thought, well, I have this new passion I want to follow. It would be best if I just don't waste their time and money.
Right.
And so I put in my paperwork to say that I'm resigning, really. And a month went by, and I'm thinking, wait a second, I'm resigning in a couple of months. No one has actually approached me to talk to me about it.
Right.
So when I spoke to the sergeant and said, I put in my paperwork to resign, and he goes, were you serious? You thought you were joking. And I said, yeah. I'm actually serious. He goes, we didn't take you serious because you're doing so well. We want you here.
Okay.
And they said, okay, I guess we have to forward your paperwork immediately. So they forwarded my paperwork in immediately. And then I get a request to go down to head office, headquarters. The inspector of the employment wanted to talk to me. And I'm going like, okay, what's going on? Yeah. And so I went down there and they go, you sure you want to leave? And I said, yes. And they asked me why. And I told them all the reason why I wanted to leave. And they thought it was going to do. And he said to me, and he goes, we've never done this before. We've never stopped a cadet from leaving. We really don't want you to leave.
Okay.
Will you reconsider it?
Right.
And I said, my mind is made up. I think this is the best decision for me, and I don't really want to stay and waste your time and money.
Right.
And so they said, okay, we respect your decision. We'll accept it. But is it okay if we give you a 2-year window?
Oh.
So that if you decide that you change your mind, you can come back.
You can come back, right.
I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. They obviously like something in me. And I forgot about it. 2 years later, I actually got an email. Not an email at the time, but 2 years later, I actually got a letter in the mail asking me to say, hey, the window is still available to you. You're welcome to come back if you wanted to come back. But by that time, I was involved in the fitness. I was involved in bodybuilding. I was working at Gold's Gym. It was like a whole new life for me at that point outside the police force. But the police force was still a great foundation for me in terms of confidence as well.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, I wanted to talk about how you transition from the book, New Look in Life, the police, to now being a speaker, where you are, how that all just came together.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
We'll be right back. You're watching a CMJ Live.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hey guys, and welcome. Please reintroduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Marlon Shaw. Happy to be here.
So Marlon, we talked about, for some of our viewers are just getting back. Okay, so you're transitioning from Jamaica, coming here, moving to Pickering, not going with the same crowd, but then feeling down on yourself and trying to find out where you are. Yep. Your mom gives you this great book, and then it explodes from there. You know, you go into the, football, bodybuilding, police. But then I want to know, after jumping in, the academy and stuff, how did it transition from that to what you do now? Or is there a part that I'm missing between?
There's a part that's missing in between that. In between the police force to where I am now, I was involved in the fitness business for almost 13, 14 years. So I actually owned and operated my own fitness club.
Okay.
When I was in my 30s, which was considered unusual, especially for an African American. A lot of people thought it was interesting. I actually didn't think I could do it.
Yeah.
And again, that was one of those things, being told that I can't do something, that got me drive. And it was the first few months, I got into owning my own fitness club. It was a dream of mine, and it took, I think, 1991 to finally open up the doors to a club in Pickering. I was all excited, and there's a few other clubs around, and some of the owners that I know them, and they weren't too happy about it. So I had one individual that owned a business, and he was there for about 3 years in Pickering, and he was the only one in Pickering, so he figured he dominated Pickering.
Yeah.
And so he would actually send messages to me through friends of mine to say, just let Marlon know that he's not going to last. I'm going to put him out of business.
Okay.
And that's the worst thing you could say to somebody like myself.
Because now it's
the moment you say that I can't do something.
The drive again.
The drive. I will struggle, and I will crawl, and I will fight all my way through. And so when I heard that, I thought, there's no way this individual is going to put me out of business.
Yeah.
And my goal wasn't to put him out of business. My goal was just to prove to him that he can't put me out of business.
And I can sustain. I can be a sustainer.
I could hang in there. I'm a fighter. I'm not going to give up. And probably within the first 2 years, he was gone.
Oh.
And I stayed there for about 13 years until I eventually decided that it was time for me to change. I got as far as I could with the fitness business, and I realized that there's so much more that I wanted to do with my life. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do,
right?
But I knew there was something else that I needed to do, and so I made a decision to sell the gym, and I sold it back in 2013. Thankfully, it is still there with the owner that bought it off me, so they're still keeping it going strong. Some are my original members. Some of them are still there as well. So it's exciting every once in a while when I drive down the road and I see the gym. It's like, okay, I have a little bit of a legacy. It's no longer mine.
Yeah, but
I created something that had some lasting impact on other people's lives.
Okay, so now, do you jump into this?
Quick. But not as quickly as I took a few years and went into IT because it was a new challenge.
Okay.
I like to push myself. So while I was in the gym business, I actually self-taught myself IT. I did some IT work.
Yeah.
And I eventually stumbled my way into Rogers, which was a great job. I mean, God is good that sometimes He just leaves you where you didn't belong.
Yeah.
But I got into Rogers, and I didn't really qualify for the job. But the recruiter was good friend with the manager, and he got me in there. And then once I got in there, I wasn't the greatest. I wasn't the best IT person. But it turned out I was a great people person.
Okay.
And so I was one of 3 contractors that was hired. And 2 of those other contractors was highly skilled with about 5 years experience. I was maybe about a year and a half experience, didn't have the skill set.
Right.
But when the time came to hire, the manager called me in the office and says, we'd like to hire you. We'd like to keep you on. And I said no. I actually turned him down. I mean, maybe it was my low self-esteem kicking in, but I didn't think I was qualified to do the job. So I said to him, you got 2 great individuals out there that are qualified. He goes, listen. He goes, I could teach you skills. I could teach you what you need to know. But he goes, those 2 guys out there, if I put them on this team, they're going to get eaten alive by my team. He goes, you are the only one that actually has made connection with everyone on the team, and you get along with everyone. He goes, that's why I'm hiring you. He goes, I'm not hiring you for your skills in terms of technical skills.
Yeah.
I'm hiring you for your communication and people skills.
Okay.
And it turned out to be the best job I ever had in my entire life.
Better than the gym.
The gym. This just stretched me to a whole level of growing.
Okay.
When I started teaching myself IT, I realized that my cognitive capacity was greater than I ever imagined.
Okay.
And so for that reason, but after 3 years, I had to become an entrepreneur. I just could not. It had nothing to do with the job. It had nothing to do with this amazing group of people that I was working with. I have a manager that I loved, so he was awesome. But I was an entrepreneur at heart, which was just kind of part of the reason why I left the police force in the first place. So I went in and I resigned from Rogers.
Yeah.
And,
how many years were at Rogers?
3.5 years.
Okay.
The longest job I've ever had in my entire lifetime.
Okay.
And then and then when I left Rogers, I was determined at that point that I wanted to get involved in speaking. I wasn't sure how it was going to come about, but I got involved in Dale Carnegie at first, then Toastmasters later on, and it just sort of evolved from that. I got the opportunity to be a guest speaker at a few networking events, and the individual who was running the organization said, "Oh man, you got to get out there. You got to speak. You got this thing."
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
And so when somebody has come back to me and said, "No, there's this thing about you. You got to go out there. You got to start." And then that was it. I just decided that I'm going to go for broke and I'm going to pursue this career. It took a few years, and then that just sort of led me through mentorships. Some of them led me down to a new path to become a certified speaking coach as well. Okay. And that's where I am today. So now I'm a speaker and a speaking coach.
Speaker and speaking coach.
Yeah, doing what I absolutely love to do, and that's working with entrepreneurs.
Okay, so when you say entrepreneurs, the specialty is to do what now?
Right now with entrepreneurs, what I do is to help them to use speaking as a marketing strategy. So that will let them to stand out as the authority figure, the go-to expert, attract their clients, to do the things that they're afraid to do. Most of them are doing the same thing to try to do all their marketing online. But the thing is that when you're online with a million other people. But when you're the person that's out there speaking in front of the audience, they're looking at you and saying, and you know what I'm talking about. When you're in front of an audience, they see you as being the expert. Because they say, if you have the courage to stand in front of these audience and share your knowledge and share your wisdom, then you must be the expert. You're the guy that I want to work with. And so that's the message I take out to entrepreneurs, and that's what I focus on doing now. And also part of the reason why I love working with entrepreneurs is that, since age 18 all the way through to where I am now, it's all been entrepreneurship other than those few years of employment. And so I've gone through the pain. Mm-hmm. I've gone through the pain of learning it the hard way.
Okay, we'll stop there. Everybody that comes to my show, and I always want the young people to understand, they see you, oh, he's got everything, he did this, he did this, he did this, but they don't hear the struggles.
No, they don't hear the struggles at all.
They didn't hear the struggles of, he got all this stuff, but what did you go through to get to this level?
Okay, so what I like to share with people when I tell them about the pain, I always tell them that, the entrepreneurial pain that I went through, I said I've gone through the entrepreneurial flood. I've been way over my head and just struggling and just sort of drowning in those struggles because I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Yeah, I know those ones. Like, you dive in.
Oh, man.
And then when they come to you and, it could be your gym, and they say, oh, by the way, you need to buy so much of this.
Yeah,
and
you realize that you're way over your head.
I didn't know I had to do that. I didn't know I had to do this.
And I like to say that I've gone through the entrepreneurial fire when just everything falls apart and you just don't know what to do. You don't know who to turn to. Mm-hmm. But I think the biggest challenge I've gone through, and the one that I share the most, is what I call the entrepreneurial pain of indebtedness. That's when you put all your money and everything into it, and it goes for broke, and you lose your life, and lose a life saving, and you lose a house, and you got to rebuild yourself. To me, that pain, that experience, it was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my entire life.
Yeah.
But as I look back onto it now, it was probably the best life experience I could have ever gained, because that is what has made me what I consider to be a great coach.
You're basically telling me and telling all my viewers that losing your house, losing your car, losing this...
Well, the car I still hanging on. The life saving, that's the one thing I still hang on to. Someone I'm able to still make the payments. Not always on time, but that's the one thing.
But it's yours. You had it.
And the creditors couldn't take it from me because it wasn't mine in the first place. So it's like, that's the one thing I was able to hang on to. It was like, you don't know in the car, so there's nothing we could do. Right?
But you're saying to me and saying to all of us that learning experience made you who you are today.
Absolutely.
Changed you and changed you.
Absolutely. There's no way I could benefit my clients today. Mm-hmm. There's no way I could give them the value that I give them today if I hadn't gone through that pain. I didn't know why I needed to go through that pain. Because when you're going through the pain, I mean,
Yeah.
you are cursing. You're asking God, like, why
Why
this happened to
what
me?
did I do wrong?
You know, what did I do wrong?
Yes,
Why do I
yes.
deserve all this thing?
Yeah.
And then when you go through it, you realize there's such a greater purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so now when I look at pains and struggles, I look at them as opportunities for learning and growing. And I could say that today.
Right.
But if you'd asked me that like 5 or 6 years ago, I'd go like, are you kidding me, man? So it's, yeah, so I like to say to all the young entrepreneurs out there and the students that are thinking about starting their own business,
Yeah.
the pain that you go through is essential. You cannot have success without pain. You know, that whole thing about no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
It's not just about athletics. It's about everything in life. You gotta struggle. You gotta, you know, you're gonna lose money. You're gonna, the business you start out with is not the one you. I think I've gone through maybe 20 businesses in my entrepreneurial journey to get to where I am.
Oh,
today.
I know. I know exactly.
And yet, this is the right fit for me. But if I hadn't gone through those,
all the other turns and
Yep.
things, you know, when you're growing up, starting off myself too. I know I started one way.
Yep.
But if everybody sees my portfolio from when I started, it completely different. And I'm like you. I've lost money. I've lost partners. I've lost friends because
absolutely.
you know, you trust certain people and then
been there.
they bite you in the end and
Yeah.
you're like, really?
Yeah.
And you can't believe it. But then you know, moving forward, you can never get bit again. Because
no, that's just learning lessons.
They're learning lessons, you
Absolutely.
know. So it's funny that you say that, you know, what success is a success for pain.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, it doesn't matter what level you get to a success. I always tell people that when you're at this level,
yeah,
the next level is a whole new game. So it's a new level of pain, a new level of learning, a new level of challenges.
So you're saying it doesn't make a difference how successful you are. If you're stepping outside of your norm, if you're starting outside of your box, you're gonna feel pain.
You gotta feel it. If you're not feeling pain, that means you're sitting in a comfort level. And if you're satisfied where you are, that's unfortunate. Because if you're not growing, you're actually dying. Right? So to those who are satisfied because they don't want to feel the pain, that's not what life is about. Life is always to say, I'm at this level. How can I take it to the next level? I mean, it's like one of my good friend Alvin Brown that write the book, Journey to Personal Greatness.
Right.
Like I said, it's living your purpose. But in order to live your purpose, you always have to figure what is the next level, what is the next step, what is it that you got to get to.
Right.
And in order to get to that, you got to go through this level of pain that prepares you for the next level of pain. So I always look at pain and challenges in my life as preparation for the next step. It's not, I like to say, it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. Okay. It's helping me to get to that next level.
If I remember correctly, I was talking to a lovely lady. She wrote a book, and then I asked her, when that pain comes, how do you deal with it?
Now, when the pain comes, it's a little bit easier. That's not to say that I'm not sometimes get angry, because we're human beings, so the emotion is there.
Right.
But what happened is now that I'm able to take the pain, and it may throw me off my game for a day or two, but I've gone to the point now where within 48 hours, 72 hours, I got to be back on track. Whereas in the past, it might have knocked me down for like a month.
Now, it's funny that you said that. She said exactly the same thing. So now that, you know, she's gone through all that stuff like you, it seems like you guys know how to bring it in, learn from it, and then throw it back out.
Yep.
When there's some people that will bring it in and it's in there. It's Monday, it's Tuesday, it's Wednesday, it's Thursday, Friday. You call them on Saturday to go hang out. Oh, well, you know, something happened, and you know, and then you're like, well, when did it happen? Monday. Should they get it all this time? You just take it in, deal with it, and start over.
I have to. If 3 days goes by and I'm in a slump, I know something is wrong. Okay. Because it's just, I have to get back on track. So everyone has a different system.
Right.
My system is water. I need to be by water. And this is why living in Ajax and the Piccaninny turned out to be the best thing for me. Because I'm like 5 minutes away. I'm a 5-minute drive away from the lake.
Okay.
Water is my tranquility. I like to go there. I like to sit by the lake. I like to meditate. I like to journalize. I like to read. So if I could just go by water, that's my recharge right there.
Okay.
And so everyone has to find that one thing.
That recharges them?
That recharges the system. Mine is that I have a system that I use every single day, and it's the same. And that helps me. The first 60 to 90 minutes of each day is mine. It's my journalizing. It's my spiritual work. It's my meditation. It's getting my mind ready.
Every day.
And every day, I'm not looking at the phone. The only time I will look at my phone early in the morning if I have an early morning appointment and I need to check to make sure nothing changes. But if I'm up at say 6:30 in the morning, then I'm not looking at anything before 8 o'clock.
Right. So that's your time.
That's my time. Because if I don't take care of me, I can't take care of my clients. And what happens is that a lot of people, they get out, the first thing they do in the morning is that they turn on the radio, they turn on the television, they're looking at YouTube, they're taking in all this negativity that's going on, and they're not prepared to take on the world. I try to prepare myself to take on the world because the world is full of negativity. And I have to be prepared to make sure that it doesn't impact me and take me off my game.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to touch on this point where you just said, take on the world. I want to know, and then maybe you can help some of my viewers, how do you take on the world? Because I know when I do these interviews, I get a lot of people that say, you know, they can't get up and go, or they always have stuff on their mind. Yep. Or some people, they wake up and they can't go back to sleep because as soon as they open their eyes, oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta do that. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, this is coming up. Yep. So we're figuring out how you take on the world when we come right back.
Discover the incredible India.
Hey guys, and welcome back. Now, we were talking about taking on the world.
Yes.
Taking on the world. When you get up in the morning, before we do that, please reintroduce yourself.
Hello everyone, Marlon Shaw, your speaking coach and trainer. Happy to be here hanging out with Charles this afternoon.
Okay, so Marlon is going to teach us now how he takes on the world. And I gave him the scenario because, you know, the reason I'm picking your brain right now, because I'm that scenario.
Okay. Well, I think you're taking on the world right now with this program.
But the thing is, I do it so often. My wife and everybody else, they wake up, you know, they can go to the bathroom, come back, they can go get a drink of water, come back, and when they go back to bed, boom, they just go out. Like, they go, oh yeah, they look at the clock and they go, oh, and they go back to sleep.
Yeah.
For some reason, when I open up my eye, and I go, oh, okay, everything's in, and close back my eyes, I can't go back to sleep because I'm thinking, I gotta meet you. Yep. I gotta call Chelsea.
I'm glad you were canceling because you're thinking about meeting me today.
You know what I mean? Like, I got all these things I'm thinking in my head. Okay, Saturday got this event. Yeah. Did I call my DJ? Did I got, you know what I mean? I can't go back to sleep. I'm up. And then the first thing it is like, you know, you get your phone and you go through and whatever. And then maybe after I get all through that, I might put it down now. I feel more comfortable and I'll fall back asleep. But I've wasted that moment. You know what I mean? So I'm learning from, like, you know, speakers like you. How do you go? And before we went to break, you were talking about you get you time.
Yes, that's so important. If you don't have you time, you can't take on the world.
Okay, so let's go. All right, so what do you do? First thing, you wake up.
First thing I do when I wake up, even before I get out of bed, is that I try to just pause.
Okay.
I do some deep breathing. And then really, actually, what I do is I do my gratitude when I wake up in the morning. I'm trying not to think about business too much.
Okay.
I'm just giving thanks to God that, hey, you know what, I have another day.
Yeah, okay.
And it's going to be an awesome day, and I'm blessed to be here, and I'm blessed to do one of the things that I do. So I sort of do that. I may even do a quiet prayer.
Okay.
Before I get out of bed. And then once I get out of bed, believe it or not, the moment I put my feet on the ground, my affirmation starts. I'm reminding myself, you know, that I have a purpose. I'm reminding myself of, you know, that I'm talented. I could do these things. I'm reminding myself that, you know, God made me fully loaded and totally equipped to go out into the world today. So even as I'm brushing my teeth, I'm doing these affirmations. So what I'm doing is that I'm automatically overriding any other thing else that I don't want to stress about right away. So for me, it's all about affirmation.
Right.
It's about doing a little bit of meditation. Sometimes when I get out of bed, I'll actually sit on the bed and I'll do my meditation. I have a recording that I recorded from the lake, so I have the waves from the lake.
Okay.
And so sometimes the first thing I do in the morning when I get up is actually I just sit at the bed, and for about 10 or 15 minutes, I'm actually listening to the sound of the waves, and I'm just going through my meditation and affirmation and getting myself ready.
And just calm yourself down.
Calm myself down.
Okay.
Because I don't want my mind racing that early in the morning, because it will throw me off my game.
Okay.
Because if you start to think about all the flood of information that all the things that you get to do, it creates that anxiety.
Yes.
And once that anxiety comes, sometimes doubt comes in and fear comes in, and then you're thrown off your game. And I realized that I can't afford that. So what I try to do is I try to actually calm myself down. Even if I'm anxious when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I got to do is go through my system to calm myself back down and say, you know what? You could deal with this later.
Yeah, but
the world's not falling apart.
But right now is me time.
Me time. I got to make my me time so that I could be great for my clients later on down. So, and over the years that I've done it, I've talked to clients who say, oh, I can't do that. I'm thinking, well, maybe one of the reasons why you're not getting where you want to go, one of the reasons you're having all this stress and all this anxiety is because you're not doing the me time. I'll take time throughout the day for me time. So me time is not just in the morning.
Oh.
I got me time going through the day. Right. So if I'll pause and take 10 minutes out, I'll stretch, I'll meditate.
Yeah.
I'll do a 20-minute power nap to recharge. I call them my power recharge moments. I'll take 20 minutes.
Okay.
And I listen to some classical music, and believe it or not, my system get used to falling asleep for 20 minutes. The alarm goes up, I get back up, I'm ready to go. So I'm always taking me time throughout the course of the day, because I have to be my best for them.
Okay.
Because they're expecting the best from me. They want me to give them the best that I have.
So then you're training yourself to give back what you've gained and your knowledge back out.
Absolutely.
Okay. So then there's your time and there's me time. Now, before we go on, because time's going to run out, and I want to make sure everybody, how do people get in touch with you?
Well, there's a couple ways they could do it. They could do it online through Facebook or LinkedIn, so I'm on both platforms. Or they could go to my website, which is speakandgrowyourbusiness.com. I keep it simple. That's my business, my brand, and that's the website. So speakandgrowyourbusiness.com, they could go there, have a blueprint that they could download called the Go to Expert Blueprint. So those of you who are looking to become the expert in what you do, there's some tools, tips, and strategies that are provided to them that they could download for free.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then give us a phone number. We can contact you.
Phone numbers are 416-995-2130. And you're allowed to call me for business, but not for anything else. Because I know I'm going to get all of those phone calls.
Oh, that's good. You know, everybody's like, say exactly.
I'm going to get phone calls from Texas and Oklahoma and all these places, because it's already out there on the website.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Get all these, are you interested in?
If I could change your life and give you $1 million, we got that as well. But the thing is, we laugh about those. Yeah. But people, when they hear those words, if I could change your life, do you have 3 minutes, or we want to change our lives? Right? And it's a thing that we all know that there's greatness. We want to do something. Yes. So how do you help them? Like when you sit down with them, do you see it right away? Is it because it's something we're scared of? How do you help?
I do it in two ways. It depends on who I'm working with. Some people need more hand-holding, so it has to do a lot more with the mindset. Okay. And try to sort of get them to start thinking more on a higher level of themselves, to see that they're capable of doing things. And so I'm a motivator by heart. Motivational speaking was one of the reasons why I got into speaking, because of Les Brown, because he's one of my favorite motivational speakers. Yes. And so that was what intrigued me to get involved in speaking. And so I still have that motivational side of me. Yeah. So when I work with clients, I'll say, you're more than a speaking coach. You're like a motivator and a mentor. And I said, you're getting the full package. Okay. So if that's what I need to do, then I'll do that. And I'll always try to build people up. Right? I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I was telling her to increase her price. And I said, you know what? You are so much better than you think you are. I said, don't think less, think more, and charge more, because you're worth it. Okay. Right? It doesn't cost her anything, and it doesn't cost me anything to build somebody up. And so part of it is building them up, and then providing them with the tools and strategies so that they could use it effectively. Keep going. Because tools and strategies are useless if you don't believe in yourself. Then you're not going to take action. So I have to make sure that if you want to get to that next level, I have to also build you up, so that you utilize the tools and strategies. I love that point that you just made, because a lot of people are going out there, taking all these courses, and they're giving them fantastic strategies. Yep. This is how I made my 10 grand in 3 months. This is how I did whatever. This is how I went. Fantastic strategies, but if we're not ready for it, if our bodies and our minds are not ready, like you're saying, to take it and go for it, then we're kind of wasting our money. Absolutely. We're kind of wasting our time taking these courses if we ourselves are not ready to take it on. Yep, I agree. One of the things that I do with my program is that with all my new clients, I send them some questionnaires.
Okay.
And so they're expecting questionnaires to be about their business, and some of it is, but a lot of it is about their mindset.
Okay.
So I ask them a lot of questions about their mindset, their belief system. I ask them, what's the self-limiting belief that's holding you from being going with
to do what you're doing, right?
Is there a reason why you think you can't be a millionaire? I'm asking questions because I know they dream about those things.
Right.
And those answers then allows me to say, here's where I need to start with them first.
Okay.
And so if we have to start with building them up and building the mindset and getting them ready for success, then that's where I start. It's not the original way my program was created,
right?
But I realized that I have to be the best. I have to help them the way that's going to benefit them the most. And if that's what's going to benefit them the most, and we put these tools and strategies off to the side for a while, and we focus on the mindset and making sure that they're ready mentally,
right?
And that they have that belief system so that they'll utilize. They won't believe in the tools if they don't believe in themselves.
Right. So what is the youngest person you've helped?
Well, the youngest people that I help now that has nothing to do with business, just a passion, is students 13 to 18. I run a program through Toastmasters, so we do a youth leadership communication program.
Beautiful.
And I have a wonderful team of Toastmasters that volunteer their time, and we do the 2 8-week sessions, one in the spring, one in the fall. So the second one actually for the fall is coming up on September 22nd. So those of you who are in Durham region, if you got students 13 to 18 that wants to improve their communication skills, it's the greatest thing that I could do right now in terms of giving back to my community, is helping those students coming up to realize that communication skills is going to take, and leadership is going to take them so much further than just a degree.
Okay.
The credential is nothing if you can't sell yourself effectively.
Right, and Toastmasters is a great place to be. I'm a Toastmasters myself.
Awesome, fellow Toastmaster.
There you go. So I know the value in it, and not even that. Just when you walk in and different people and what they're learning and just learning from each other. It's a great
learning
thing.
from each other in Toastmaster is one of the greatest benefits.
And the thing that I love about it is what you're giving back to the students.
Yeah, thank you.
And a lot of us, it's a thing that we have to give back.
Yes.
It's something we learn.
Yep.
It doesn't help if we're just keeping it in our own little bubble.
No.
You know what I mean? So.
And that's I think the biggest thing I've learned over the last 30 years of my life was that in your when you're in your 20s and 30s, it's all about you. This is what I want. I want the money. I want the car. I want the girls. I want the house. I want it all.
Gotta have it. Gotta have
it. And so when I look back at that, my focus was always about trying to get what I wanted.
Yes.
And if I'll explain why my success was so slow in coming, because I was focusing on what I wanted. I wasn't focusing on how do I help other people to get what they want?
And then it'll come back to me.
And then it comes back to me, because in doing so, then it's full circle. And so now my focus is all about giving back.
Okay.
Because the more I realize, the more I give back, the more I get back in return. And a lot of it has nothing to do with monetary.
Okay.
It's just the joy of seeing somebody going to a whole new level, and they just say thank you.
Wow.
I didn't think I could do this, but because you believed in me, I was able to do this. And to me, that is priceless.
Okay. Yeah. Listen. We have about a minute left, and before we end the show, we do something here called CMJ Live called the Shoutout.
Okay.
All right. So this is your opportunity to shout out all your family and friends.
Sure.
Shout out anybody that's been in your life, because they're watching it around the world. This might be an opportunity. And if they say, "Oh, you don't think of me," you can say, "Go back and watch the tape."
Yeah. Well, this is definitely a shout out to the families, friends, mentors, coaches, clients, everyone that's been in my life. Those who have motivated me by telling me that I could do it. Those who have motivated me by telling me that I can't do it. I appreciate you all. And this is my opportunity just to say thank you. I am where I am today because of all of you. Everything that you've done, everything that you've said had an impact in my life and had helped me to go from where I was to where I am and to where I'm going. So thank you all. I appreciate you and I love you all.
Oh, my goodness.
Have a blessed day.
That's fantastic. And listen, I'm telling you right now, he said it himself. If someone says you can't do it, doesn't mean you can't do it. Prove them wrong. All right? You watching CMJ Live. We'll see you. Have a great one.